So, Frostfire buffs happened, and there's been some time for people to cook. So let's talk about them. I'm going to start with fire, because I'm going to rush through it a little faster, but they buffed the Fire Mastery, 2% haste. Isolate Core was buffed, which is good. Frostfire Burst was buffed. Frostfire Infusion was buffed, and then they doubled Excess Frost cooldown reduction. And then got some general buffs for Ash and Feather, Pyroblast, and Meteor. In general, pretty good. They applied all these Frostfire buffs as well to Frost. Same exact ones, essentially. And then the general ones were great because Fire just needed a bit of a bump in single target. I just closed out. But for Fire, this was a 20% damage increase to Frostfire. It'll be more, I think, because whatever their APL ended up being is about 50k higher than what this one shows. So, yeah, quite a substantial buff to Frostfire. Gained like 200 or 300,000 DPS essentially in single target, which is wild. That does make it actually the de facto pick above Sunfury, right? It's now 4% better than Sunfury in single target, which is pretty substantial. It does play SKB. There's no option for Sunfire to play Unleashed Inferno. It just will play SKB. This is the Mythic Plus build, but you just take two different talents if you were to play single target. So yeah, it is an Ignite spread focused Mythic Plus build, primarily using Flame Strike either when mobs are going to die very quickly or just to enter it with SKB. So yeah, there's no way to not play SKB. I'll be interested to see what people are thinking about this. 10 stack SKB feels kind of bad compared to an 8 stack SKB. But Fire's filler has been pretty boring, I'd say, with Sunfury. Maybe people don't share my opinion, but it's just not very engaging in my opinion. So I'll probably be giving this a shot because I like Frostfire's visuals, and 2, I think Sun King's Blessing's fun, so this could be pretty cool. It's still going to be substantially worse than Frost and single target, and its AoE should be relatively decent, but again, this is Ignite spread, so I'm not really sure. But we'll see how that ends up happening. The double Meteor, because for Fire, Firefall triggers Isothermic Core. That plus actual Meteor is going to result in a massive amount of Comet Storms. I'm not really sure if Ignite works with all Mage spells, to be honest. Because, for Frost issues with Frostfire are one of the big ones that all its effects don't actually work with Third Mastery. So if Comet Storm works with Ignite, then I can see why this is going to be a little crazy. But if it doesn't, Fire is going to be playing a bunch of Verse, which is unfortunate. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to Frost. Frost is going to look like this. So we have Frostfire is essentially tied for the best single target build for Frost, and this is a Frostbolt spam build as well, right? If you wanted to play Standard Frost, it's as worse as Spellslinger Standard Frost, essentially. A little bit worse than that, I think, as well. So, yeah. The main reason why you might want to play Frostfire in this case is because if we scroll up here to additional raid information, Frostfire has about half the RNG, or the DPS variance, moment or iteration to iteration, that Spellslinger has, primarily because it's just completely removing Spellfrost teachings. That is a very poorly designed talent. Even though I'm sure people like pressing Orb, it's just horrendous. It puts us in like the top 5 most RNG specs, just because of the Orb resets and the fact that they generate splinters and when they happen, and that they don't have an ICD and they can like cascade when you're in Icy Veins because each orb generates 12 splinters, and if you generate another orb, it'll also generate 12 splinters, and then that just can really give you a really high or really low, and you don't really even feel it in your gameplay. I don't think you'll just be looking at the meters and be like, okay, I'm doing 200k less damage. Why? And the answer is there's no reason. Right? You rolled some dice poorly, so I'm not a fan of that, and I'm also not really a fan of these Frostbolt builds, but that's what we're playing. So you're used to Spellslinger not wanting to cast Comet Storm in Icy Veins. Well, Frostfire doesn't want to cast Orb in Icy Veins. Why? Because it wants to press Frostfire Bolt. Okay? That's it. There's no interaction. The only interaction is Death Chill and Slick Ice that makes it want to press Frostfire Bolt. It also doesn't press Shifting Power and Icy Veins, but that's not a new thing that has happened. So yeah. It also Ice Lances even less than the Spellslinger build. It will only ever Ice Lance essentially into Winter's Chill with excess fire, which is not commonly occurring. Otherwise, I press Frostfire Bolt and then I press Glacial Spike. And the primary reason for this is because of Frostfire Bolt's Ignite effect. It has a dot, and that dot stacks like Ignite, and that if you keep casting Frostfire Bolt, it'll just keep stacking to do higher and higher ticks over time. And since that also lets us stack Death's Chill and gives us higher Winter's Chill uptime and more flurries, it's like, okay, sure, we'll keep pressing Frostfire Bolt. And so that's what we do. And not only that, we generate too many flurries. And because we generate too many flurries, we actually just munch Winter's Chill all the damn time. Okay, you ready? Frostfire Bolt, Flurry, Glacial Spike, Frostfire Bolt, Flurry. This munches Winter's Chill. This is already hanging into Winter's Chill, and we're flurrying. Doesn't matter, because we need to do it. Guess what? We go down a little bit. Glacial Spike, Flurry, Counterstorm, Ice Lance, Frostfire Bolt, Flurry. We munch Winter's Chill again. And then guess what? This next one, Flurry, Frostfire Bolt, Glacial Spike, Flurry. We munch Winter's Chill again. And then Frostfire Bolt, Flurry. We munch Winter's Chill again. Right? And it just keeps happening. You know, there's a sequence in here where it munches Winter's Chill like for 4 sequences in a row, and not like this. Your flurry condition as Frostfire doesn't even require a precast. It's just we're never casting Ice Lance, so we're just always munching Winter's Chill. But if we were to cast Ice Lance, we would just flurry with no precast because we just have too many flurries. We have to get them out. So yeah, this is something that would be competitive on like Sikran and Princess. I don't know if it will really see play there because again, you can see this. You're Ice Lancing far less than even Spellslinger does. You're Ice Lancing about half as much, so you just are gonna have less mobility, and I don't think people would enjoy that. Even though you'll be significantly more consistent of a spec, and you're not as reliant on like your orbs hitting the target the whole time. So yeah. We also only, Ray of Frost in like the last half of Icy Veins because of Death's Chill. But anyway. I'm curious to hear people's opinions. I know this part of the rotation probably hasn't seen as much spotlight as the Spellslinger Frostbolt one. I know a lot of people really aren't playing the Spellslinger Frostbolt one, right? Like Korea or China hasn't been doing it at all. And it's just incredibly RNG. So, yeah. We'll see how this performs in Raid. Maybe I'll do a short about it just to show you how to play it and whatnot. But, it's not that hard. You're just pressing Frostfire Bolt and Flurry and Glacial Spike, and then you just Ice Lance if you have excess Frost and Winter's Chill, essentially. And that's it. So, it's a bit disappointing how Frost's design has gone so far in this expansion. It's not very enjoyable, and I'm not a fan of the fact that we get RNG for really no benefit. Because again, top 5 RNG specs in the game right now, and for what? For pressing Orb more? Silly. So, alright, and then for Mythic Plus, I don't think most people are going to want to play this because for Spellslinger, taking Death's Chill is a 0.8% damage increase. For Frostfire, it's a 5% damage increase. So you have to play Death's Chill if you play Frostfire. And Frostfire also just performs worse against freezable targets because most of the time at the moment people are playing Frostbite, and Orb is one of the primary things that procs Frostbite, and at Spellslinger we get a lot more of them. So your freezable targets, Frostfire just kind of gets wrecked. This might get increased a little bit more. People have focused a little bit more on single target optimization the past day. So, Frostfire could come out, on top, perhaps, in which case, good for it. In which case, I would say, it's probably a good pick for Ovenax, at least, and perhaps, some dungeons it might see play. So, that'll be interesting to see how it develops. I'm going to be making a court video next day or two because I know a lot of people are progging that, so hopefully that's helpful as well because I know I haven't really made any YouTube videos in like 2 weeks. Maybe I'll do a Mythic Plus Frostfire video when it comes out again. But I haven't really been doing that much in Mythic Plus. So yeah. All right. I hope this was relatively informative. Apologize that it's not like a full gameplay showcase of how you would play it, because I know there's people that are excited for the visuals and they want to play it, but it's not really worth learning anything new, to be honest, at the moment, unless more changes happen. You can just stick with Spellslinger. So yeah, goodbye.